Welcome, creators. Sit yourselves down by the crackling hearth fire and listen. I am Holistic Dungeon Master, and I help DMs master their craft with helpful videos such as this one. And in this one, I give you the tools you need to prepare to improvise. That's right, prepare to improvise, so you'll always feel ready when your party does something you didn't expect. If you're enjoying my content and finding it useful, please like the video, crit the subscribe button notification bell, and get ready to level up your DM game like never before. Where's my dice? Here it is. Let's get rolling. How can you prepare to improvise? I hear you ask through this through this screen, through this vast gully of space and time in the digital space. How do you prepare to improvise? It's an oxymoron, right? Isn't that the whole point of improvising, that you're not prepared? Actually, you'll find that if you prepare to improvise, you can improvise even better. And I will explain how you can and should prepare for moments when you need to improvise, okay? The trick, however, is to prepare things that you can drop in at a moment's notice, right? Like when your players do anything unexpected, okay? The whole point of these things that you drop in, these elements, is that they're not tied to any particular person, place, thing, or time or event. They are what I call floating structures, okay? So this can be encounters or NPCs, and we'll go through them all now in this video. But there's a secret, however, to making these floating structures fit seamlessly into your session, which I will include in the end of the video. So stick around for that. However, I'll be dropping little hints sprinkled throughout this video, so try and guess what the secret is before then. Secrets and clues. Write down 10 secrets or clues when you're prepping your session. Now, these secrets or clues could really honestly be anything. The whole point is that they're not tied down to anything, okay? So it could be like a little bit of secret knowledge or lore if someone decides to research something, or they inspect a library and they nat 20, you gotta come up with something, right? It could be an item relevant to the story that you can drop in. If someone rolls high on their investigation to loot, right? It could be information about the enemy the gang are trying to kind of beat or investigate. It could be clues to a mystery or a puzzle that you can drop in wherever the party are looking for them, instead of them just not rolling high enough to find the thing, or not going where the clue is to push the story and move it forward. It's frustrating when that doesn't happen, right? And that's how you avoid it. You have things that are not tied to any specific circumstance, and whenever the players investigate something or do something, that's when you pluck one from your 10 secrets or clues and you drop it in to move the story forward, right? 10 is a lot. Yeah, it is. And it doesn't sound like a lot now, but when you're at number 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10, you're really plumbing those depths of creativity. We love to plumb those depths. And this can actually help you when you're really struggling to find those last couple of ideas. That last secret or that very last clue might take you the longest. The 10th clue might take you longer than the whole 9 previously before, but that's when you come up with your best idea for the session. That's when you come up with your best thing that ties everything together, right? So, 10 secrets or clues, essential. Fantastic locations, okay? So, prepare 2 to 3 locations that showcase your game's setting or themes, right? And look, locations are very, very hard to improvise, or at least they are for me. I think they probably are generally. Maybe they are for you, if maybe not. Type down in the comments below if you disagree with that statement. But I find that they're generally quite difficult to improvise, So here you improvise 2 or 3, give them a cool name, an evocative name, and you give each one of these settings, each one of these fantastic locations, aspects, that are specific to your theme. Maybe it's fantasy, maybe it's sci-fi, maybe it's grimdark, right? So say there's the cavern of lost souls, right? Your party are fighting a necromancer. There could be, the walls could be vaulted with spinal cords or spinal columns. The chandelier could be made entirely of teeth or something like that. These, like I said, these things are hard to improvise, but if you prepare them beforehand and your party that's where their adventure takes them during the session, this is a location you can just plop in there, and it's all ready to go for you. And it prepares you to improvise also because you use those 3 little aspects, not much, those 3 little cool things about that place And this will inspire you to riff off those as the players move throughout the space, begin to interact with stuff. You already have the kind of feeling, the atmosphere in your mind from these things now, as you've described them to your players. This will kind of key off your brain, right? It'll spark this little nudge of creativity as you begin to explain it more to them and, really build this location naturally, organically, as the players move throughout it. It's a wonderful feeling, and it's great for your players too. So these locations should be almost like characters in your session, in the narrative of the story. They serve to evolve it in some way. Maybe they find something there that they need, specific piece of information or a person that they need to interrogate. Don't just put it in there for no reason. Encounters, right? So always have at least one floating encounter in your back pocket that you can throw in whenever the session calls for, right? We've all experienced those lulls in gameplay where the players, maybe they don't know what to do, or maybe they haven't picked up on the clues and hints you've been giving them so far. Whenever these lulls happen, you can throw in one of these encounters to kind of spice it up, right? To kind of create a movement in the narrative. Maybe it's a puzzle or a fight or an NPC that needs dealing with, right? So having something that is readily available like this will make you feel just much more confident going into the session, and that confidence is so important to running a good one. Your players want to feel that their DM is confident about the experience they're providing for them, right? But the key is to always try and tie it into where you want the story to go, right? Never have an encounter serve no purpose other than to break up a lag in gameplay. Maybe that NPC is crucial, has a crucial piece of information, much like your fantastic locations. There's stuff in these encounters that evolve the session. Not there for no reason. They serve a purpose. Enthralling NPCs. So have 1 to 3, maybe more. If crafting NPCs is your thing, maybe you've got a whole bunch of them. But 1 to 3 is a good kind of benchmark for a session, maybe 4 or 6 hour session, whatever. Enthralling NPCs that you can just drop in, like everything else. These floating structures. Your players are going somewhere. You see all of these floating structures you've prepared, and you go, that's the right one for the situation. You pluck it, put it in, and this is how you've prepared to kind of improvise. And just the natural gameplay, and the best part about this is stuff will happen in game that you never imagined, you never planned for, you never dreamed of, and if you do this, your own game will surprise you, even much more so than usual with D&D, and it's a fantastic feeling. But again, these NPCs are not tied to any specific scene or location. Maybe there are some in your story, in your session, that must be totally fine, but having 1 to 3 of these floating ones just kind of helps you in those kind of awkward moments you don't really know what to do, or they don't know what to do, or stuff gets stagnant, right? So, because players love interacting with interesting NPCs, I think that's just a fact of life, a fact of the game. They do, and if they don't, okay, I'm sure there's players out there who don't, but in my experience, most players love interacting with NPCs. Let's not generalize. Oh, here's a good one. Here we go. I think it's that one there. Oh, please don't fall over the rest of my books. This is a really, really good resource. I found it in a kind of local game store, and then I bought it. So it's the Game Master's Book of Non-Player Characters, and it's got, not sponsored by the way. If you guys are watching, Jeff Ashworth, if you're watching, go ahead, please sponsor me. But yeah, it's basically just got a bunch of NPCs in here, and some of these are just really cool. There's a centaur warrior, but he's got one leg hacked off. I think there's like a kobold bard in here, and they all just have their stories. It even gives you a little kind of quote that they would say, right? And some of them even have little quests attached to them and written into the book. It's a very, very good resource to have some of these floating NPCs, right? They're very kind of wacky, and most of these do fit into most situations. So pick this up, pick it up or gain inspiration, steal from them, whatever. This is a great book for that. Put it back now. Oh geez, yep, I knew it. Everything would just start falling. Okay, all right, we're good. This is super useful whenever, and it's happened to us all, whenever the players just turn around and say, I want to talk to that merchant, peasant, enemy, whatever. It happens all the time, and you have someone ready to entertain them because they're an enthralling NPC, and you can use these NPCs to drop in some of those secrets from your secrets and clues list, or maybe even a rumor or a red herring or two if you're feeling mischievous. Now, you've all been super patient, and maybe even some of you have discovered the secret I alluded to at the start of the video, but this secret is actually a two-parter. The first being, every time you drop in one of these floating structures, it must serve to move the narrative forward. It must. There is nothing more boring than something that happens for no reason in D&D, right? It's a story, it's entertainment. When something happens and there's no reason, your players, there's just this kind of void, this kind of anti-gravity effect where they feel kind of a little, the immersion is broken nearly, and they just kind of feel, oh, we're just in this place and we don't know really what to do with it or how it connects with anything we know or goals. It's not a great feeling for them, and it's a horrible feeling for you. When your players, the conversation lags, you feel the fun levels just begin to drop, and you can almost see your posture almost goes down as well as you sink into the chair waiting for your players to come up with something because you don't have anything ready. This is why it's so important for it to move the narrative forward when you drop in something like this. It just gives an extra spice to these amazing things that help your game be better, right? Just improving them even beyond their original design. Yes, so you can and should use these in tandem with each other for maximum effect. You drop the fantastic location, you've got one of your enthralling NPCs in there maybe, and they contain, in their brains or on their person, a parchment, a tattoo or something that reveals one of these secrets or clues to your party. Do you see how it all works? Do you see how it all connects together now? So yes, use them in tandem with each other, and the results will be beautiful. So you are all now well equipped to start preparing to improvise. I told you it makes sense, and I guarantee that you will run an amazing session if you apply these techniques as described, right? Now, some of you may recognize that many of these methods are from a book I always recommend here on the channel. Sly Flourishes The Lazy Dungeon Master's Guide. It's a brilliant resource, and yes, I'm pulling the secrets and clues, the fantastic locations, I'm kind of pulling all of these from the books, but I know that many of you will never bother to read that book. Look, that's fine. For some of you it's not going to happen. That's why I'm distilling that information here on my YouTube channel and adding my own kind of twists and takes and developing the concepts even further, right? I'm not just spewing out what Sly Flourish has given in this book, right? But I thoroughly recommend this book on your journey to becoming a truly exquisite DM. Now, down in the description, you should find the link to my kind of community Discord server where we can hang out. I'll be in there a bunch. We can discuss the game, you can meet other DMs, and we can, other players too who love D&D. If you're just a player, please join it by all means. I'll also be posting my upcoming games in there, any announcements, any content that's upcoming or out will all be in there. So come join the community and we can really foster something wonderful. Now you've heard a lot from me, I want to hear from you. Please get typing in the comments down below. Have you tried any of these ideas already? If so, please let us know how you got on with them. Do you have any other ideas for preparing to improvise, or any other kind of floating structures? I'm sure there's many more of them that could exist that you could plonk down into your game. Please let us know down below in the comments, and we can all help each other get better as DMs down there, right? And really hone our craft. If you've watched all the way up until now, then you are the DM I make these videos for, right? Someone who is truly dedicated to being the best DM they could possibly be. So thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like the video, share it with another DM who you think could benefit from it. Please crit the subscribe button and notification bell. And remember, this world needs good DMs.